Hey everyone, Vance Aloupis here, CEO of the Children's Movement of Florida, and I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am about BreastfeedingMIAMI and the incredible work being done by so many partners across our community. As I've talked to our team, and I've been in this work for 10 years, I think what we've realized is that a lot of the resources around breastfeeding have really been siloed. So different organizations are providing resources, but there hasn't been that interconnectivity that we really need to make sure that we're reaching as many children as possible. And for me personally, this is a really important issue because I'm the father of 3 little girls, and all 3 of my little girls were breastfed, and I've talked about it with my wife, and as I reflect back on their time breastfeeding, it's just interesting the challenges that we went through as a family. I can remember with my first daughter being in the hospital with my wife and the challenges that she had breastfeeding early on, and how lucky and how grateful and how blessed we were to have a lactation consultant in the hospital to support us, to make sure in that stressful moment with that first child where you're so exhausted that you do everything you can to make sure that your child can breastfeed. With my second daughter, she breastfed a little bit longer than our other girl. She actually breastfed until she was 2 years old. My first daughter just through her first year. And then with our third daughter, Olivia, who's now 3 years old, also breastfed for her first year. And it was such an important bond between my wife and my daughters. And I did everything I could to help. We had the pumps at night. Sometimes when my wife was exhausted, I would take the milk out of the refrigerator, and I would feed my daughters. But just watching the bonds between my daughters and my wife grow because of breastfeeding and the relationship that they have with her it's so powerful. And again, I'm so grateful, honestly, that you're including fathers in this conversation, because I think sometimes we don't talk about how important fathers are in the early development of children. They are absolutely critical. And I tell all of my friends who are having new babies, take time off of work and spend time with that young baby. You have no idea the impact it's going to have, not only on you, but on your child in the long term. And I think sometimes we get in this belief that we have to get back to work. Life is going, but I'll tell you right now, as a father of 3 girls, there's nothing more important than spending that time with your baby. So I'm grateful to the Fatherhood Task Force, Holly Zwirling, who's been a longtime friend, for helping to coordinate this. But going back to my original point, we live in an incredible community, 3 million people, and there are so many wonderful resources. But in so many areas, our challenge is that those resources, they're fragmented, and they're being provided in one community or another, and there isn't a collective. And I've been so proud of our team, most specifically Rocio Velasquez, who has been one of my closest colleagues for a number of years, and this is a passion of hers. So her work to help bring this collective together. My great friend Diana Ragbeer with the Kiwanis. So I'm so happy to see that after all of this time and all of the great resources that are being provided in our community, that they're all coming together. And I have no doubt that because of that collaboration, we're going to be able to serve so many more families, so many more children. So again, just thank you for letting me be a part of this. Thank you again for including fathers. And I hope all of you have an incredible event.